rumble of the discourse. We've taken an abandoned concrete factory at the margins of the declining American empire and repurposed it into a battleground where 19 separate entities from across the political spectrum enter the discourse one by one and do battle to determine who controls the narrative force of the discourse. I hope you'll join me, your Southern Gothic Futurist host, dirtgod Raven Mack, for each and every episode of Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. Hey, greetings, folks. dirtgod Raven Mack here, Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. I got a text this afternoon that to report to the abandoned concrete factory because we were going to have a rumble tonight. You see in highlights, the last one we did was around 4th of July. President Biden came out as the first person. That one in July was a 29-person battle royal. The final three ended up being not an FBI agent, allegedly an antifa member, the critical thinking punk libertarian dude, and then President Biden started out that thing and made it all the way to the very end. He did get pinned here by the not an FBI agent. That put that down to critical thinking punk and the not an FBI agent. And the not an FBI agent ended up winning that event in July. But I got the text today because what's happened is, as many of you may know, social media all went down today. Facebook went down, Instagram went down, a few other things went down. I even had network issues with my day job. And what I was told is we are going to be having a rumble tonight because there's shifts happening and everything, and whoever wins tonight's rumble, it's a 25-man rumble, as you can see here. The police state and that not an FBI agent, they're the two referees here tonight. So those are going to be your referees for tonight's match. COVID-19 looks to be the first competitor. Looks smaller than he was, not quite as big as COVID-19 used to be. Still out here though. Let's see the next competitor. Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, will be coming out. Well, anyways, what's happened here is I've been informed that we're in the midst of a shift technologically, and the winner of tonight's rumble is going to receive a boost in the algorithm for the next year. So this is all related to the outages that have happened today. Again, I got a text this afternoon telling me to be here tonight, so that's why I'm here with you tonight and why we're having a rumble out of nowhere. I hadn't planned on this. I'm actually wearing basketball shorts while I record this because I hadn't planned on having to work tonight. Kamala Harris kicked over the top rope by COVID-19, but he didn't eliminate her. Now, COVID-19 is much smaller out there. Not quite the threat that it once was. It is still a threat. We need to eliminate the threat, I'd say. Goes for a pin on Kamala. Couldn't get it. But still out here. Big kick by COVID-19. And coming out next, Joe Manchin, the senator from West Virginia. Relevant to Kamala Harris with Vice President Kamala Harris, allegedly the tiebreaker in the Senate. The Senate was supposed to do a lot of things. Not much has happened. Been big talk about that this week with this infrastructure bill, reconciliation bill. And I'll be honest, I don't follow the discourses closely. I don't even know what the hell some of that stuff is. But I do know that all the things that were supposed to happen are not happening. And yet somehow the Republican side still claims that socialist agenda is being instituted, so I don't know. COVID-19 working over Kamala Harris, Joe Manchin flexing for some punches, and here comes Alex Jones. Conspiracist, radio show host, talk show host. Interestingly, he was found liable, defamation of the parents of Sandy Hook, from what I understand. Alex Jones has not had the best go of it. Not quite as relevant as he was 2016. Fell off the face, but things shift. While Alex Jones was that person people listen to for kooky stuff, Joe Rogan's kind of taking the place of that. Alex Jones' shtick got a little too played out. People got tired of it. He became almost a mockery of himself. And here comes Dianne Feinstein, senator from California. She is our 5th competitor. 25 competitors. A new person comes out every minute. Thrown over the top rope to the floor, pinfall or submission, you are eliminated. And Feinstein cracks Kamala Harris. Nobody eliminated yet, does it? Dianne Feinstein's been senator since, from what I understand, the Democrats were Republicans and Abraham Lincoln had gotten out of office. Very old woman. Police state and not an FBI agent are your referees. And the mommy blogger's out next. The mommy blogger. Now the mommy blogger is really taking a different tone here in the past 6 months, I'd say. The mommy blogger's whole identity was a writer, but the mommy blogger doesn't even seem to really write anymore. Mostly it's just social media accounts sharing a ton of stuff about how the vaccine mandates are a threat to our freedoms, and I'm not quite sure. The mommy blogger was always on that tip of being anti-vaccination due to autism. Was very pro-Hillary, though, somewhat progressive, but has now kind of creeped into this sentiment that vaccine mandates are a threat to our civil liberties. And well, there you go. Alex Jones just got knocked out the ring, and he is gone. Same time, Ben Shapiro, that little mighty might of the alt-right, comes out. Ben Shapiro's climbing that corner rope, but the mommy blogger's tone has sort of shifted, and I'm not sure she's even a blogger anymore, mostly just a social media poster. Ben Shapiro, similarly, well, Kamala Harris is busted open in there. She's bloody. I do want to point that out. And Kamala Harris and Ben Shapiro dropped Joe Manchin on that ladder and break that tie, Joe Manchin. Kamala Harris helps Ben Shapiro eliminate Joe Manchin. We've got a buzzer, and it's Bernie Sanders, Vermont senator, coming out about as Vermont as it gets. Or is he New Hampshire? I can't remember. He might be New Hampshire. I don't know. New England's all the same to me to some extent. Very progressive, very white. And Bernie gets a pin on Dianne Feinstein, so Dianne Feinstein is eliminated. Bernie Sanders takes her out. Let's see, we still got COVID-19 in there. Vice President Kamala Harris, the mommy blogger Ben Shapiro, Bernie Sanders, and here comes that critical thinking punk. He's old school punk rocker, but now a libertarian more than anything. And Bernie gets another pin. Pins Kamala Harris. So Bernie cleaning house there. That critical thinking punk now is more of a libertarian than anything else. Sadly, not the weed smoking libertarian, more of the cryptocurrency investing libertarian, even though they don't invest in COVID-19, pinned by that critical thinking punk. So maybe that critical thinking punk has a point. Maybe herd immunity is the way to go. Maybe not. Those vaccinations are a threat to civil liberties, and we just take care of COVID-19 that way. I mean, I don't believe that, to be honest, but critical thinking punk did pin COVID-19 there. And we got another buzzer, and it's the verified blue check, and he's got that piece of wood. Let's see what sort of consent he's coming out to manufacture. The army of blue checks are always in effect on social media, and that could be part of what happened with this Facebook Instagram outage. And there's another pinfall attempt. That Facebook Instagram outage going on. Social media is used to manufacture consent to a certain extent. Guys like this verified blue check will drop editorials. Here in Virginia, they just had a story come out that a local editorial writer was given almost $300,000, I think, by Dominion Energy, which is a large electric company in the state. So he got paid this, an editorial writer, supposedly a journalist, and Matt Getz comes in carrying that trophy symbolic of the trophy wife he eventually hopes to share nude pictures of with to all his friends. But this writer supposedly, and Bernie Sanders pins that verified blue check, so Bernie Sanders has been busy in there tonight, knocked out a few people. But an editorial journalist received a few $100,000 from Dominion Energy here in Virginia. You can only imagine what verified blue checks are getting on the national stage to have their high-profile articles in newspapers and magazines be pro whatever they're pro, as if it's just come to through critical thinking and their own intelligence, as opposed to somebody giving them a check. And here comes Ted Cruz, that cockroach from Texas, who just... It's really hard to believe this man was opposed to Donald Trump in 2016 and somehow altered himself and grew that heinous villain beard. And there's another pin, and Matt Getz has pinned Ben Shapiro, so little Ben Shapiro didn't get through it. Pinned by Matt Getz. There's another pin. I didn't see who it was. There's a lot going on. But Ted Cruz has somehow survived all this and is still out here being a senator from Texas. About to get another buzzer. And it's the Twitter communist. Twitter communist. Identifies as a communist mostly through his consumption habits, probably personified by the fact that this has become so popular that Grimes staged some pictures reading the Communist Manifesto publicly, just walking through the streets, leaning against a bus stop sign, reading the Communist Manifesto as a very normal and average person would do. Twitter communist, king of the corny jokes. One of the big problems with Twitter, in my opinion, I canceled some of my social media accounts. Everybody thinks they're a comedian and makes the same stupid fucking jokes. Kind of annoying. Twitter communist pinning the mommy blogger, and that's quite a pair there. But Twitter communist eliminates the mommy blogger, and speaking of Grimes, looky here comes Elon Musk. Twitter communist got eliminated. I think that was Matt Getz that maybe eliminated him. Matt Getz looks busted open as well, but Elon Musk is in there, separated from Grimes recently. Elon Musk, very wealthy man, not sure why, very ugly man, has a child whose name is some sort of collection of numbers and symbols. Ampersand Musk. So we've got Bernie Sanders still in there, that critical thinking old punk. Matt Getz over the top rope, doesn't get knocked out. Senator Ted Cruz, and joining him now is Senator Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell. Some lady just had a book in the Let's Talk About Trump Book of the Month Club, talking about how McConnell was just accepting free gifts at Trump's Mar-a-Lago place, or whatever the hell it's called. Like that's a shock. Like, these sleazy old senators aren't just taking everything they can. Like, we all know that. Like, why is that supposed to be a shock? And the critical thinking punk just gives it up. I think that was, and Bernie Sanders is pinned there by Matt Getz. So we have critical thinking punk and Bernie Sanders are gone. The action's quick here, and here comes AOC. AOC comes out. Well, Elon Musk just got tossed as AOC comes out, and AOC gets a leg drop on him out there on the ringside. AOC famously went to that Met Gala and wore a dress highlighting her ass that said "tax the rich." So it's the first time people have used ass to market taxing the rich, which also is a very let them eat cake moment, in my opinion. Expensive Met Gala, and I know that we're trying to make people aware of things, but I'm not quite sure how a very expensive dress at a very expensive charity gala raises awareness for income equality, but whatever. What do I know? I'm just some dumbass from Virginia. Well, speaking of that, here comes a super blue check who's more than willing to chastise people like me from rural America, especially white males like myself, for being too ignorant, behind the times, even when we think we aren't. Super blue check, that progressive version of the blue check. And she's on AOC right away, which wouldn't make sense to what you would expect, but super blue check choking AOC. And there's a devastating spinning DDT on AOC. Meanwhile, the Republican senators and Matt Getz are... What is this? This the masked MAGA train, MAGA CAG, the masked MAGA CAG train, and there's those double fingers. That's Trump out there, isn't it? I am not sure, folks, but I'm pretty sure this is Donald Trump out here under the mask. He had been banned from the Discourse at one point, but he has quietly kept himself within the Discourse, but maybe not the mainstream Discourse. And I think that's, with the outages of social media and social media's influence, specifically Facebook, on the flow of events. And here comes a reply guy, always part of the conversation when it comes to Facebook. But the way information is shared, these mainstream discourses is not always the discourse that is controlling things. And I think that people don't necessarily realize that, because the mainstream discourse is what they think is the dominant discourse, because that's what we've always thought. Mitch McConnell rolled out the ring and fell out. He is gone. But this masked MAGA CAG, reply guy pins AOC. Look at that. So reply guy pins AOC doing his business. Now, I would hate to see the reply guy get an algorithm boost for a year. There's too much of reply guy as it is. We've got a buzzer and that Rogan podcast fan. I mentioned that earlier. Alex Jones used to be the source of, misinformation wants to be free, but at a price. And that used to be Alex Jones who was getting paid off that. And now Joe Rogan's the man making the big money, spreading that misinformation as much as possible. But that misinformation is cloaked as free thinking, questioning, asking questions. That's all I'm doing. I'm asking questions, Got a pin in there. I'll reset it after we get this buzzer. Looks like we have 6 people in there. Let's see who's coming in. That verified blue check, that New York Times op-ed writer. I'm sure he's here to tell us how we had something wrong about Afghanistan, or how this infrastructure bill is necessary not only for Biden's agenda but for rural America. Some bullshit he's got to tell us. He joins the Rogan podcast fan, super blue check also out there, a pair of blue checks. Senator Ted Cruz, representative from Florida, Matt Gaetz, the reply guy is still out there, and that masked MAGA CAG train. So that masked MAGA CAG train, which I am assuming is Donald Trump, shaped like Donald Trump, dressed like Donald Trump, but wearing an American flag mask, which I'm sure is made in China and for sale on the Donald Trump website for $88 each. And here comes Kirsten Sinema. She's definitely been in the news a lot. Along with Joe Manchin, had been a sort of defiant senator in the Democratic majority, has since turned into just an absolute obstructionist, and it seems to be some sort of cash grab involved with her, according to some folks. Just goes to show, just because somebody identifies as bisexual and is quirky and looks like a gentrified neighborhood come to life, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're a good and decent person. Which is not to say she's indecent, but she's certainly doesn't seem to be, that little dance thumbs down for minimum wage. I'll never forget that. As somebody who has ever made minimum wage, I will just never forget that. Lady Cop comes out. Ted Cruz got eliminated. Did not see who pinned Ted Cruz, but he was eliminated. Lady Cop comes out. And Lady Cop's important to recognize as well. The police state is in full effect. That police state is your referee, and there, along with that not an FBI agent who may be part of the police state. I'm not sure. Allegations are maybe to be careful and don't trust them. Don't add that not an FBI agent to your important signal threads, is what I've been told. But the Lady Cop, is woman of color. Seems like the police state is more diversified, but let's not forget that Lady Cop has qualified immunity should she ever shoot you 7 times in your back. And here comes President Biden. That is our 24th person. We have one more person come in, so President Biden comes in. And I know Biden wants to stake his legacy. It's hard to believe we're only 9-10 months into Biden's 4 years. It feels like, the way they talk about his legacy and it feels like we're at the end of it, but we're not. Like the presidential cycle with this MAGA CAG trained mass wrestler out here already, you know, and Donald Trump running events, the presidential election cycle really doesn't even end anymore. It's been continuous. And our last entrant here tonight, let's see who this might be. Hear the music, and it's Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis, and he's got that camera. Governor of Florida. He has had his eye on bigger office, and Super Blue Check just got pinned in there. I think the lady cop may have pinned her. Did not see for certain. Ron DeSantis, hardcore Republican, was fighting mask mandates in certain school districts. Has had that his eye on bigger pictures. I think I saw this afternoon his wife was diagnosed with breast cancer as well. No joke about that. That's just what I read. So he comes out. Looks like we have, let's see, President Biden is in there, Ron DeSantis, Matt Gaetz is still in there, he's bruised up. That MAGA CAG train, that mass wrestler, who I believe is Donald Trump, the Reply Guy is still out there. The Rogan podcast fan is out there, giving a bad name to Adidas track pants. Verified Blue Check is still out there. Who am I missing? Oh, Kirsten Cinema and the Lady Cop. So we've got a full field right now, 9 people. That's it. Nobody else is coming out, so these 9 will go until somebody's eliminated. You got to think the Lady Cop has an advantage with the police stating that not an FBI agent is the refs. And look at that. Ron DeSantis just tumbled over the top rope and eliminated himself. Somewhat fitting and metaphorical, perhaps, for his aspirations for larger office. You know, he sort of walks that fine line between being respectable like an old politician, but ridiculous like a post-Trump era politician, and I don't know how you can really walk that. Then again, we had Ted Cruz out here earlier who somehow has managed to navigate that as well. Let's see, we have, how many women do we still have? 2 women in there, the Lady Cop and Kirsten Cinema. 1 masked man in that MAGA CAG train, and there's, I thought that was a pin. Yeah, it is a pin. Kirsten Cinema pins Reply Guy. So Reply Guy gets pinned by Kirsten Cinema. So we've still got Kirsten Cinema in there, that Lady Cop. What a move there. Verified Blue Check just smashes Kirsten Cinema. But she kicks out at 1. Biden is on that blue check. Kirsten Cinema's on that blue check. Lady Cop punching the Rogan fan in the head. And the MAGA CAG train just belly to back suplex on Kirsten Cinema. Yeah, I didn't make mention of all the briefcases, which is lobbyist money. MAGA CAG over the top rope. Gaetz is right there. Could hit him with that broom, but didn't. Lady Cop pins President Biden. So President Biden eliminated by the Lady Cop, and then Matt Gaetz knocks the Lady Cop out. So the Lady Cop is gone, and we're down to 5 folks in there. Matt Gaetz still struggling. Verified Blue Check, Senator Kirsten Cinema, a Rogan podcast fan, and this masked MAGA CAG train. One of these people would get an algorithmic boost for a year by winning tonight. Verified Blue Check, I'm not quite sure how that would affect. They already get kind of forced on this already. I'm not sure if you're familiar. Well, there's a pin on and a kick out. Not sure if you're familiar with the concept of manufacturing consent, where you're fed certain media information to sort of manipulate the public into going along with the mainstream program, so to speak. And it's definitely become more obvious in the era of blue checks and op-eds and even cable news. And there's a pin to Rogan podcast fan eliminated by that blue check. Now, I wouldn't have expected that. Verified Blue Check is an older form of media. That Rogan podcast fan is that new podcast type journalism where I'm just asking questions. But Rogan podcast fan eliminated. The MAGA CAG train just pinned Kirsten Cinema. So Kirsten Cinema being the last Democrat, open Democrat in there. Verified Blue Check with a 2 count. Kirsten Cinema gets a shot on MAGA CAG train. she's off to go train for another triathlon, I guess. Verified Blue Check has been bloodied up. We've got Matt Getz. It's surprising Matt Getz is still in there. It's surprising he survived some of the scandals he went through earlier this past year. But, you know, that's sort of symbolic of what it takes politically now. Matt Getz is by no means deserving of political office. He's very obviously a piece of shit. But, well, the Verified Blue Check is tossed out, and all we have is Matt Getz in that MAGA CAG train. And he's over the top rope. Will he get eliminated? MAGA CAG train right there. And they're both on that apron. This could, well, no, they're both back in. But that's personifies this era of sports entertainment politics that Donald Trump really just sort of, same thing the WWF did in the 80s where it said, you know what, we're not an actual sport, we're sports entertainment. Politics has gone like, you know, well, he's over the top rope again, and Matt Getz trying to knock him off, but MAGA CAG fights back, saying that politics is not really right and left, that everybody's playing characters, supporting who's giving him those briefcases you see in the ring. So Matt Getz, a very obvious piece of shit, likely involved in multiple sexual scandals, not even scandals, illegalities, but doesn't matter, you know. He survived them, and he's still there. And once you get elected to Congress, you're pretty much elected until you decide not to a lot of times. Donald Trump certainly was no angel, and he's got a whole army of people that believe, you know, he's the one. He's the man who's going to save democracy somehow, which it's just absolutely comical to think about. I really don't want either one of these folks to get an algorithmic boost. I can't see Matt Getz really doing anything with it. He doesn't have the tact to really run with these things. It seems like he's sort of maxed out as a representative from Florida. I mean, he could ride that out for the next 30 years of his life, to be honest. The MAGA CAG train has been plugging along. I mean, I do live in rural America. I see the yards of neighbors kick out a tube, I guess. The Donald Trump train has never stopped. In fact, it might be gaining power, believe it or not, even though people think that it's not, and it's been defeated. I think that it's sort of, it's like a fire that you think has been put out, but all these embers are still there, and everybody just leaves and stops watching it, and it's starting to slowly smoke and spread. I think we're a lot further along on our steps towards a fascist state than most people realize. But at the same time, it's a big country with a lot of space, and you can always hide out somewhere. The surveillance state can't watch everything. So, where there's Matt Getz over the top rope? Is he gonna? He does not get eliminated. And MAGA CAG, that masked MAGA CAG, is giving him the double middle fingers. So Facebook had a whistleblower last night, and they are all down today. It seems coincidental that right after a big whistleblower caused some more concerns with social media, that they all went down today. I'm sure to back up all our data and delete what needs to be deleted and get a record of what needs to have a record of. It all seems a little coincidental, but I'm not even sure who is the producer of this Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. I have someone who Venmos me $125 for every episode we run. And there's a pin, only two, of which, well, I don't have to tell you what I do with my Venmo, fuck you. But, I'm not sure who the overall producer of everything is, so I don't know how a one-year algorithmic boost can be promised. I don't know. And there's a gourd buster onto the mat. Matt Getz probably could have went for a pin there. MAGA CAG is back up. Matt Getz rides him down. And Matt Getz surprisingly in control here. Really would hate to see, well, I'd hate to see either of these men get an algorithmic boost, but one of them will. And now they're test of strength here. You know, we've had a long fight here. You can see the time there, 36 minutes into this thing. MAGA train. Matt gets slips. MAGA train gets him in a full Nelson facebuster into that broom. And there's a pin too. And there it is. So that MAGA train has won. That masked MAGA train. So we haven't seen this person. It certainly looks like it could be Donald Trump, but I don't know. It's sort of stealth, flying below the mainstream radar, but now they will have a 1-year algorithmic boost from winning this tonight. Once all our social media are back up, I'm assuming you'll start to see that happening. Anyway, I'm Raven Mack. This Monday Night Rumble, the Discourse, is supported by my Southern Gothic Futurist Patreon. You can get that at www.patreon.com/RavenMack. I post daily pretty much. I missed today because I got this text to come do this. But for the most part, I'm posting daily on that Bama. Something in your email inbox. It's not always a video like this, but it's a lot of different things. Definitely worth your time. That's all I have for you tonight, folks. I don't know if I'll get the text to come back again. I really enjoyed not having to do these things because, to be honest, the Discourse is painful. But if we do come back, I'll see you next time, folks. Peace.